and gaining money from the exchequer, from the public. That should be. That should be. I'm just saying in case.
Yes.
Secondly, this is what I keep saying. You know, if, and you've asked an interesting question, what would be in the mind of the appointing authority?
Yes.
And allow me to say the appointing authority by not saying the president is one, probably in the context of right now, is the appointing authority. What could be in the mind? And he's answered very, very, very well that the struggle to fill in this position, to reward, you know, some of these personalities who have been either assistance to you in your campaign,
yes,
or in one way or the other, which for me, and that's why I said my analysis to this must always be fair, that each and every appointing authority subsequent to succeeding in the government would look back and actually try to get your, your support base, getting some positions. It is not a bad thing.
Yes.
Because in one or the other, you do that. In one or the other, and it's been in successive regimes. That probably could be happening if it's done in accordance, to the law, because once you are an appointing authority, you are subject to a law of the land. In this context is a constitution. And you see, I've asked my colleague Danton to tell me, and he's not answered me. In the portfolios that are provided in the constitution, where are the CAS in the constitution? He's not believed to tell me that. He's not
yeah,
in the constitution.
Yes.
When we take a constitution,
yeah,
in the context,
yes,
the context, because in the cabinet,
yes,
just Simba,
okay,
in the context of the cabinet composition, it's quite clear who composes the cabinet.
That's it. It's quite clear. The law is quite
clear about it. There is no way about, hulabaloo about who points, who fill in these. And that's why I said someone will go to court again and probably even question, do we have the position of the chief cabinet secretary in the constitution? Somebody might go ahead. As the questions are, who is it that took the oath of secrecy,
yes,
in the state house that is not in the cabinet?
Pretty much.
So these are simple, blunders that this government makes, and if you are questioned, you think the public is making you to look bad, but in essence, there's critical things you're not listening to. Mm-hmm. What the citizens are telling you. And second, as I conclude and leave it for Betty actually, because
yes,
we're not taking her time.
Yes.
Sorry, her time for response.
Yes.
You see, you asked about, is it possible, is it feasible to have the chief administrative secretaries drawing from that huge budget? And the answer is that this is well manageable. Kenyans are struggling with the rising, wage bill. Kenyans are struggling with the economy right now. And it's quite insensitive to anyone of us in this panel or in the government justifying that any position can be created drawing billions from the excess of money, if in essence we know very well that their functions in delivery would not meet the value for that money.
Yes.
In the 5 years to come. We cannot sit on the panel and justify that. And that's why I said, while we draw different views, and at the same time also like to question the opposition, because there's no alternative. We are here and saying, government does this, government does that, but where is the possible alternative? The opposition is not there as well. So I think it's important for critical voices who are not lambasted, whether you're an Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, to critically questioning the performance of this government.
Yes.
Because it's no longer sensitive to the public appeal of what citizens are actually voted them to do. That is it.
Pretty much. Once we come back then from this tiny break, Betty, you're going to take